Hey everyone, we're going to do something a little bit different today, which is I'm going to review footage from some of our local high school games, actually scrimmages, and we're going to go through just certain mistakes that are made. This is meant to be an educational video. I'm not going to identify the individual umpires. In fact, I haven't even looked up their names, and I'm not going to. But this is something for us all to learn from, and it's something that helps me to know as a training director what I need to be teaching to our umpires. So you're going to come along with me. I've already clipped the videos together so we can find the specific plays I want to talk about, but we'll go from there. So let's get started. This situation here is a runner on first base only. So let's talk about this play and what our coverage responsibilities are, right? So with a runner on first base only and a wild pickoff throw, the responsibility for the runner stays with our base umpire, and the plate umpire should be taking the ball. And our plate umpire, more often than not, pretty much all the time, actually, in a crew of two, our plate umpire is responsible for overthrows, possibly leaving the field of play. This being another example of when that would be. So for our plate umpire, we actually want to be on this play right here. If we see this ball going near dead ball territory, then we want to be breaking off and actually coming out this way here, working towards an angle to see that. Now, if you're 100% confident that it's not going to go out of play, then you can probably drop back to the point of the plate, but there's certainly no reason to start going up to third. And when we do that, you'll see, and it almost works out well because for some reason our base umpire, and this is true for all base umpires, we want to avoid backpedaling as much as possible. First of all, you're more likely to fall, and also you can run a lot faster if you turn your hips and have your feet moving forwards versus backwards. It almost works out well here because if you look at the positioning of our base umpire right now, especially with a high school athlete, that could very easily get beaten into third base. So we have the play here, but we don't need two umpires here, right? This should be the base umpire. Our plate umpire needs to be at the point of the plate. And as you're going to see, that's going to be kind of a theme of this review is we need to stay at the point of the plate longer and more often. So next play, nobody on. So we're going to do an article on this mechanic in a later episode of, in a later magazine. I think might be March, but it's March or April. This is the mechanic as it's given in the high school NFHS manual that I have right here. I can tell you it is my least favorite mechanic, and for our GHSA umpires, we do not follow this mechanic. This mechanic's on page 69. Nice. But as you can see here, I'll show it on the screen maybe. But the mechanic here is that our plate umpire goes up to third with nobody on and no umpires going out. And in theory, the base umpire comes home. So base umpire would see the batter runner touch second and then comes down for a play at the plate. It's a terrible mechanic. I'm just going to say that now. It's not what we do. Pretty much all the state custom manuals, this is like the first mechanic they take out of it, and they run what is the mechanic at pretty much every other level, which is that our base umpire takes the batter runner all the way around the bases, and then our plate umpire, and this is the big difference. So right here, who is responsible for if that ball is going out of play underneath that right field fence? Because our plate umpire is running up to third, and our base umpire here is coming in pivoting to take the batter runner around. Nobody has responsibility for this ball. This is part of why this mechanic is so silly. It's that if this plate umpire is doing what they should be doing in pretty much every other mechanics manual and the GHSA technical mechanics, they should be coming out, pointing the plate in the direction of the ball. And so then our plate umpire is responsible for it. They are seeing what's going on out here. If somebody threw a hat or a glove at this ball and hit it, I don't know that either of them would see it because he's busy rotating. He's busy taking the batter runner. That's part of why this mechanic is incorrect. It shouldn't be done. But certainly for our plate umpire here, nobody on. If our partner doesn't go out, we're going direction of the ball. And then right here, as the ball's being brought into the infield, then we curl around and we come back to the point of the plate. Point of the plate being the key, point of the plate being a very important theme to today's review. Okay, we've got a runner on second. I think it's second only. All right, so let's go back and let's take this from the beginning, right? So, runner on second only. This is in our mechanics manual on a ground ball in the infield. There's a couple things we need to pay attention to. For our base umpire, we do want to see whether or not this ball is going to be thrown to third base. So, ball's hit in front of the runner. Runner probably incorrectly running on contact here, but this play's deep enough. We should feel right here, there's no play at third. I've got the third baseman, the shortstop back there. There's no play at third. But there is a possibility, and there does end up being a play at first. This is called controlling the working area. And what we want to see is our base umpire get from the C position all the way across here to the other side of the working area behind the mound so that you get close to that play at first, so that you're close. You can get the best view and angle of it possible given a two-umpire system. But that requires, off the bat, recognizing our responsibilities and knowing where we need to go. Because at this point, we're just so far from that. And this ends up being an easy play, but we're way further than we should be on this play. And for me, when I'm evaluating umpires, this is probably the number one thing that tells me whether or not a base umpire has hustle is when they start in the C position, can they get across the infield for a play at first? Now, when we get to our plate umpire, anytime we start with a runner in scoring position, we should be moving back to the point of the plate. So our plate umpire here, all you got to do is just drop back about 3 or 4 steps. More often than not, that's where we need to be. But when we don't do that, so first of all, we see the throw, and it's tough because I'm not sure he sees the touch at third or not. It's hard to tell. But if we drop back here, then our peripheral view allows us to more cleanly see the runner here at third, and now this ball getting past the first baseman and going potentially out of play, both our responsibility. If our plate umpire had been back here at the point of the plate and farther back, even going further back, opens up that field of view, we can see even more of the field. Versus here, we're stuck having to turn our head a bunch and ultimately not being able to see everything we need to. And then as well on top of that, let's say he fields this cleanly or there's somebody backing up. Let's say the right fielder is backing up and right now the right fielder gets it. We're not in a great position for a play here at the plate because we're going to want to be point of the plate and then third baseline extended to start. That's why start point of the plate. Don't get sucked up to third base if you can avoid it. Again, runner on second only. Actually, that's the same play, so we're going to go right past that real quick. Okay. Had to make sure that wasn't the same play too. So, fair foul decision up the third base line. Fairly close. 6 inches maybe. We need to have an umpire on the line here. If we're making a fair foul decision, there should be a chalk line or potentially an extended chalk line between our legs. And that just takes seeing this off the bat. You can see how those first steps are slow. Our instincts, and you'll develop this over time, should tell us, I need to get to the line. I need to get on the line immediately. And so I would have liked to have seen just faster movement to the line here. For our base umpire, I'd probably just say step up and square to the play, because especially this runner from second, which we need, these coaches are probably going to need to work with these runners a little bit, but he's almost running into, if that ball is 6 inches to the right, that runner's running into an out. The question's going to be, though, is our base umpire going to be there, or is he going to be standing in the B position? So I talked about getting across and why that's important, but we need to still know where plays are potentially going to develop. No runners on. So just talking about mechanics, right? Foul. Well, actually, I got to go back because I got to talk through it. So this is that is a foul ball. It's definitely not a foul tip. And if it were a foul tip, we're going here and then here. But since it's just foul ball, just come over here, foul ball. Okay, no runners on. So this is a fly out, and our right fielder is pretty far over. To not be in the screen here, they have to be starting over, and they're probably running to the line here. This is certainly a missed pause, read, and react, and this is going to be what we're going to struggle with early in the season. And we build a lot of bad habits in the summer because you're working travel games, and if you go out 4 times in one game on a day where you're working 6 games, your plate umpire is going to kill you. But when we're working high school ball, and that's why I love working high school ball, is it's 1, maybe 2 games a day. And so we can't let those bad habits drive us here. This is almost certainly a ball that our base umpire needs to go out on. But certainly then our plate umpire too. Again, if our base umpire does not go out, and this belongs to the plate umpire, we need to build a habit of going the direction of the ball. When we don't go direction of the ball here, there's nobody on the line for this catch, no catch. And again, we can't see it, but I can almost guarantee you it needs a fair foul decision. Oh, this was also a theme. Come on. Ball 4, they know which direction they need to go. But any habit bringing up the right hand, and we're going to see it throughout this video, you confuse your partner on that. Are you coming down to me for help? Are you calling a strike? We don't need to point ball 4. They know where first base is. But certainly if you're going to do it with your left hand. Because like right there, we get the check swing. And again, check swing mechanic. If we're going down with the check swing, it should be with our left hand. Come out from behind the plate. You need to sell it to your partner that I'm coming to you for help. That's super important here. So fast forward. Strike 3. So we have there's our checking with our right hand if he went, and then there's our he's out mechanic. And those look pretty close, right? We want to avoid that as much as possible. Especially there's nothing worse than you go down to your partner for help, and and they're looking at you blankly because they don't know whether or not you're asking for help. And then there's you're calling him out, and then your partner goes, "No, he didn't go." Yeah, that stuff happens, and we want to avoid that. This is how you avoid that. Runner on first. So this is a good job by our plate umpire here. This is a potential rotation, correct? If there's a potential of a play on R1 at third, then our plate umpire can get that. Now, the nature of the game is that our plate umpire is always going to start behind the runner, but we want to mirror R1 to second. That means as soon as this ball's hit, our plate umpire does a good job. It's time to start moving up that way. For our base umpire, the only thing I would change here is, and this is an advanced mechanic that's taught more at professional school than it is going to be at any of your one-day camps or anything. What I'd like to see is our base umpire getting across the working area to shade the side of the field the ball is on, because this is your catch, no catch. And remember, what's our order of responsibility? It's fair, foul, catch, no catch, everything else. This would be a great time for our base umpire to get across, because we all know what's going to happen here. If this ball's caught, there is zero chance they're going to be throwing this to first base for a double play. It's not going to happen, at least not at the high school level. So there's no reason to shade back that far when we can get across to have our first priority, which is the catch, no catch. But still with the runner on first. And again, that's a great example of that first to third and how our plate umpire just got to see it off the bat and go. For base umpire, and this is probably true for everyone, but plate umpires need to make sure we're yelling at our partner, "I've got third if he comes." Be loud with that, because then our partner here on the bases, I would rather see just sitting down and sitting here, or standing here, right? Get an athletic position between your two responsibilities, first base and second, but there's no reason to backpedal here. The pro school mechanic is going to be for our base umpire, even if you hear your partner, to look and peek over your shoulder to see your plate umpire and confirm that they are rotating, and assume they're not until you've confirmed it or heard it. Here, not a bad idea too, but at least, we could have saved this backtracking here. Because let's say that ball's backed up by the left fielder and he fields it cleanly, but the runner started going halfway, and then you get a play on the runner at first. We're now all on that third base side. So just more reason, again, split your responsibilities, shade the side of the field the ball's on. I think this is still first and second with 2 outs. So this is a pretty good job by our plate umpire getting back to the point of the plate, right? More up than you need, but still, we're not getting sucked up forwards. And remember, the more we open up, again, we can see that touch at third. We can see this guy rounding first. It's not our responsibility, but we can see everything if we just back up. For our base umpire, again, outfielder drops his left shoulder, means he's turning back to run towards the fence. This ends up being not too hard of a catch, but still, of all your responsibilities, there's nothing to keep you this way. Certainly, there's nothing to bring you to third. Don't backpedal. Now is your time to move up in the working area, gain distance and direction for the catch, no catch. So this one's actually not So we're reading the run. We're reading the play here. More often than not, we should not end up on a knee and accrue a 2. Usually when that happens, either the play developed really weird or we misread something. Our instincts on this play with 2 outs should be telling us that no matter what, this ball's being thrown across the infield to first. So especially when it's hit to the third baseman like that. So I would have liked to have seen our base umpire step up, but then staying trust the ball, open up, and get back to the other side of the infield here. Again, gain that distance and direction. Especially with the double first base, and as things are going to progress, we need to be doing all we can to get as close to that play as possible. No runners on. So this is just a good job by our plate umpire, getting out from behind the catcher, exit the catcher to the left, and then coming up the line. We don't need to button hook across, just come up the line, and then you can you can slow down, try to reduce your head movement when the play happens at first. That's going to become even more critical as we get to the double first base on more fields. No runners on. So the defense plays pretty shallow, seemingly, this game. I could accept that you maybe read clean base hit on this. I don't think we did. I think we just didn't read it. Probably still should be going out on this, though. It's a ball. How we tell whether or not there's a boundary call with outfielders, potential boundary call, is if they drop their shoulder and run back, there's a chance that we're going to have a boundary call on a play like this. So I would have liked to have seen our base umpire go out. But they don't, and that's going to happen, right or wrong sometimes. For our plate umpire, going direction of the ball, I would have rather seen our plate umpire go up to the first base side here. That way, too, if our partner did go out, then we've got the batter runner around all the bases. But no big deal. Ball comes in. Plate umpire should come back to the point of the plate. So this is one where right here, our instinct should tell us, okay, we've got less than 2 outs. That runner was stealing, and this is a fly out to the outfield. He's probably got to get back, and potentially quickly. So here, we can still work a little bit direction of the ball. Once we read, though, that they're probably going to make a catch, and we have this play back here, I'd probably say try to slide back in here closer to second, just so that you're going to be there if this does end up being a close play. Now, the opposite of all of this is true here, and our base umpire does a great job. Plate umpire 2. This is a runner on second only, so on a fly ball to the outfield with a potential tag up, the plays at second and third are going to be for the base umpire, and the base umpire is responsible for the touch of second. Since we don't have what's going to be a trouble ball in the outfield, there's no diving or sliding or collision, then we don't need to gain distance and direction. We want to try to get an angle where we've got the catch and the touch lined up in front of us and potentially as closely together as possible. So base umpire does a good job here to see both of those. Tag up occurs. The only thing I'd change is that once we end up with one runner, we can't stay hands on knees set. Right now, okay, I got a catch. He just pulled it out of his glove. Now we need to hustle over. We need to get into the cutout at third base for a potential play at third. So I grabbed this play. Take your mask off with your left hand. Let's build that habit. We want to have our right hand open. That's picky for some people, especially newer umpires. But let's try to have our mask. Take it off with our left. Keep it in our left. Good job getting to the line, pointing it fair. Our base umpire. The only thing I'd say is, and this is something that just has to be built over time. It's something I'm going to be working on this year. But in this situation where it's just the one runner and there's going to potentially a play at second here, if there's going to be that play at second, we need to be in the cutout. If there's not going to be, then we want to stay in front of our batter runner in case something develops into third base. So this is a great example of, and we can't see the ball get through here, but off the bat, we need to know our responsibilities as the plate umpire and have an idea of what we're going to do. I can't tell if this ball is high or low, if it's just a low line drive that he could have been quick on or not. Based on when the runner goes, if this is not a trouble ball needing fair foul, and I don't think that it is, but this is just an example of we need to get going, because does anyone out there believe that at this still shot, there's a chance that our plate umpire is going to get to third base for a play on R1 at third? There is no shot on that. And that's why it's so important that those first couple of steps, we got to get up to speed and we got to get going. Because if this was going to develop into third, we're going to have such a crappy angle on this play. Okay, first and second. Sorry, bases loaded. I just thought this was a good job. Ball gets by us, by the catcher. We open up. We get third baseline extended, keeping chest to ball. We can give a that's nothing or balls in play signal if we feel that it's close over there. But good job. Ball hit him. Probably don't need to point where to go once the ball hits you. Ball hit him. Okay. I'm not going to go into detail on it here, but there is a mechanic of what we need to do during a pitching change and where we need to stand. It's not in this lovely manual, even though it should be. But we did do we did a referee article on it, and it will find its way into print soon. But we want to go opposite side of the dugout that the coach comes out of. I won't get into the reasons here, but we will. So we're going to have a pitching change eventually. Okay. So 10:28 in the video. Now I'm fast forwarding right now, but that's when the player got out there. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now he's on the rubber. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's not going well, is it? 13. So 10:28 is when I showed you the time that the pitcher was out there on the mound. We're now at 12:50. So we've gotten about 2.5 minutes with 5 extra throws. Remember, it's preparatory throws, not pitches. You get 8 throws unless the previous pitcher is injured. That's not what happened here. But, our plate umpire, as we go back and look, just has, the most fantastic conversation with number 1 here. I'm sure the brownie points were earned. You made some jokes. At the same time, I don't know what our base umpire is doing other than staring into space. But that can be important. We have seen games get protested in the past because we're not paying attention to this. Pay attention to it. We're not getting into that story either here. Bases loaded, less than 2 outs. Ball hit to the left fielder. This doesn't look like a trouble ball. It doesn't need a fair foul. We want to see our plate umpire here really dropping back and getting as far over as possible to, again, line up the catch and the tag at third. Don't get caught standing. I do think we won't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that our plate umpire here gives an out mechanic. You need to make a decision and be loud if you're taking that. I'm on the line, but if you're not on the line, you don't have catch, no catch there. These are those little things that are important, especially as we develop, is really understanding what our catch, no catch responsibility is on every play. Well, there's our problem. We have 2 umpires signaling home run, which means no umpire knows which one had responsibility on this ball. Now, I'd say both umpires, their instincts are right to at least start heading that direction if they're going to be the one taking it. Plate umpires, though, if you're ever signaling a home run when your partner started in the middle, then it needs to be a trouble ball and it needs to have had potentially fair foul. So you need to be on the line to do that. See, our umpires don't communicate here. Then we watch our touches. Now is not the time to ask for baseballs from the dugout as the plate umpire. We have other responsibilities, including touches. That is R1 rounding second here. That is not our batter runner. Our batter runner is further behind. Our plate umpire is responsible for the touches of third and home here for these 2 players. And yeah, I'm not buying it. I don't think he saw the touch of third. Sees the touch of home there. That's good. But get back to the point of the plate. See everything. Plate umpire does a good job seeing, or base umpire does a good job seeing that guy touch third, getting back. No runners on. It's fine, but again, if we're coming out and our partner's coming in, let's go direction of the ball. Try to gain distance and direction. And that can be important too, because eventually your partner will misread one and they'll come in on a diving catch, and it's going to look a lot better to sell that from here versus here. Personally, I don't like the hand behind the back because I think it prevents you from locking in, and that's what leads to that move right there. You'll lock in better just putting that hand somewhere solid. But back there, you're just not locking any of your muscles. Nitpicky, and that's not what we're worrying about here. So I ended up pulling this clip because when is this catch completed? So we'd see the ball there. You can see it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, we're going to like... Ball glove, I think, and we're immediately looking down in this way. What are the, what do we need for a catch? We need control, but then we need voluntary release or momentum of the catch stopped. That has not happened yet. There, he just pulled the ball out of his glove. And our plate umpire is looking at the ground and at the first base dugout. Stay with those catches a lot longer. Okay, I think we're just runner on first here. So there's a lot of bad here. So we got to pick off to first with a first only, and you can't see it, but clearly it's a bad throw. Gets past the first baseman. Plate umpires, remember, and again, this is a different umpire than we had earlier, but we got to stick with that. That we have to understand we've got that ball. Somebody's always responsible for the ball on the crew. That's our plate umpire on an overthrow, especially since our base umpire starts in the middle. There's nothing to take you up to third. We have to break this habit and this feeling that, oh, I got to go up to third. This is not that situation. There's just a couple of very specific situations. This ain't it. For our base umpire, chest to ball, we always need to know where the ball is because this was almost in the back of our head. Stay chest to ball. Don't cheat. Don't get lazy on us here. Because hell, if he catches this here, and that runner's just a little bit further, and then there's a play at second, I don't think we're even seeing it. And your plate umpire is not going to be any help either because, he's now looking at you as he's almost to third base as well. So we want that play back. I think that's what we're going to say. This was an interesting one. So I want to talk to all of you about this. We have a walk. And remember, we have the new rule of player-to-player meeting. So we have the walk. Batter stepping up here. Coach comes down. Now, I think our shortstop starts coming to the pitcher because of that. Doesn't matter. This with the coach here, that is a conference. That's an offensive conference. What's going on the mound is a meeting, but a conference supersedes a meeting. So this would not have counted as a meeting, but now we're getting close. And that's why it's important. And I don't think this crew was really paying attention, but because now that runner goes to the coach because of this, which again could possibly be a conference. We won't get into that. But is our crew paying attention here? That's gonna be tough for all of us this year. So this is not specific to them, but it's something we all need to be aware of. That is this becoming a meeting now? Like, what are we doing? So what would I have liked to have seen different here? plate umpire, off the bat, off the right, clearly these two runners are going clearly to everybody. You know, we can't really tell from this angle, but it clearly this is going to get down for a hit. It's not a trouble ball. Although it might have ended up closer than they thought. But anyways, for our plate umpire, if we're not reading double tag, which we're not going to have here, we got to get pointed plate, and that's the habit we've got to build. For our base umpire, good job there, getting, shading to that side of the working area. That's where the ball is. And again, you're doing that because there's no likelihood of a play at third base here on that runner, but you might have something at second and first. So we're shading the side of the field the ball is on. That's a good job. And that keeps us right there at second for that play. But then for our plate umpire here, if we're pointing the plate, we can see everything. But if we're here, if that runner had kept going from third, zero chance he saw the touch of third. Yellow was going to see the runner, and then we're starting out of position for this. Whereas if he was back here, he doesn't need to be, getting 2% closer to that play from there to there isn't going to help you with anything, but it's also not your play. And, we're getting down and trying to get set for it. Absolutely not what we need to do. Drop back to the point of the plate, get deep, open up your field of view, see everything. If there is no play at the plate, we never need to signal anything. So first of all, this is a pass ball, and we saw in the earlier example, we saw a great job of staying chest to ball. This is the opposite of that. Turn here, you need to be watching the ball back there. You need to see, is it going to get lodged? Is it going to get stuck in something? Because that happens quite a bit at the high school level, that a ball gets lodged back there. We need to see that. We need to know what's happening with the ball. There's never a great angle for this play if it's going to develop back into the plate. You might say, well, third baseline extended, but then you're probably in the way of this throw. But boy, it'd be nice to see what's going on over there. Well, what if he had taken off his mask and then he uses that to pick the ball up? Then you've got detached equipment. There's a lot of reasons here to see that play. And then again, we don't need to signal safe or point at the plate or anything if there's no play. So this is runner on second base only. Our base umpire correctly reads that this ball is in his coverage area, and that's because the right fielder turns to the right, so it's between right and center, and starts working across because he's going back hard. Good job. And is in position to see this. The ball, you can't necessarily see it from this screen, the shot, but obviously it gets down. He does a good job. Now he's shaded to the side of the field the ball's on. So that's great base work. For our plate umpire, again, once we read this, we don't have responsibility at third for anything. He's trying to lean back to see around all this. And if he were just standing right here, he'd be able to see everything. So point a plate, point a plate, point a plate, point a plate. If you're going to work on anything in your next game, this is for all of you. This is not for this crew. This is for all of you. Point of the plate next time you're on the plate. Work on that. And then just stay point of plate. Because again, what are our responsibilities? We have the touch at third. We all know he did not see the touch at third. And then if this ball were to come home, what the hell angle is that for this play at home? It's not an angle. Remember, point of the plate, I did a video on that earlier, and then on plays at the plate, where if this is coming home, we want to be somewhere over here, not over there. So, just this antsy feeling to move. And then, I think he does see the touch at home, and I think he sees it because he points at it to tell you he touched home. Again, no play, don't point, don't signal, nothing. What the hell is it? This goes back again. When we're getting help, we always go with our left hand. Always, because this causes confusion. That looks like a strike, an uncaught third strike potentially that you're signaling there. And then you're in it. Certainly, if you're going to your partner for help, you should probably go to your partner and not to the first base coach. Coach, what you got? Because I can tell you, he's going to say no just every time. You can't trust them. They're always going to say he didn't go. They're just not fair people. But then your partner's stuck. Your partner doesn't see it. This is all just so awkward as it develops. And like, what are we going to do? The worst case scenario, he's going to say, oh, yes, he did go. Like, after all that, not a good look for the crew. I think it's a correct call. But, man, the mechanics are ugly. And that's, again, come out strong, especially when it's an uncaught third strike. Did he go? Did he go? Try to get that answer quickly. Just would have liked to have seen that base umpire get across the working area. And that's something for all of us to work on next time, right? Get across the working area. I think I took this clip because just that mechanic there. That versus that, like, it gets close. Another mound visit. Again, coach comes out of the third base dugout. Let's go up the first base side. That's not the pitcher yet. There's our pitcher. 2010. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. I think we just told him 2, 7, 8. Good job. Still about 2 minutes, but pretty good. See, versus our umpire we had on the plate earlier on something like this. And again, this is going to be as critical as it could be as we get to this double first base. You have got to be working your way up the first base line, and we've got to stop being sucked the direction of the ball on ground balls in the infield. Again, we've really got to work on our pre-pitch thinking, where am I going as this play develops? We weren't thinking that here. And then we're stuck here. And now, versus our umpire earlier was way up here for this play to see that correct touch at first. Now we're just off the line. We don't have a great angle on running lane or anything. See, this is the correct side. Now that was correct just because that's the habit he's built, is going to the left. Not necessarily opposite, but that will be better overall. Yes, somebody texted me while I was screen recording. They're obviously in trouble for that. This one, runner on first base only. Plate umpire, good job. Just shade the side of the field the ball's on. For our plate umpire, we got to be on the line on this. We're not yelling I'm on the line because of the ball being in the infield, but we got to be on the line protecting the line, because if that does end up needing a fair foul, this is not the position to be to get that. And anytime our shortstop comes that far, it's safe to get on that line. Would have liked to have seen our base umpire on this get across the working area. Only responsibility, get across the working area for that play. Still runner on second. 2 outs. Woo. Oh, you hate to see it. The double safe signal. Whose ball is this? This is the plate umpire's ball. It is taking the left fielder to the line and the shortstop to the line. It needs to be the plate umpire getting this ball. And I don't even know why there's an instinct taking you to the right, period. But you got to be working up that third base line on this play. You got to be on the line. And then once you have it, then it is yours. But once you do whatever this is, and certainly when you don't yell at your partner, I'm on the line, then our partner is probably going to think that they have it. And this is just a lack of communication. And then again, even first responsibility was fair foul, catch, no catch. So we were definitely, if that's the case, we're getting on this line to see it. But if we're not, then point of the plate and we can see the whole field. But now, can we see the touch at third? Can we see if there's any potential contact with the first baseman as he rounds? These are just things that we're giving up visibility on for no reason. Oh, and we end up with a, oh man, let's see here. Just to make it even better, with 2 outs, we end up with a time play. I didn't even realize that when I put this together. 2 outs. That's not a close time play, but if it had been closer, that's a time play. And we need to be at the point of the plate so we can see the touch at home lined up with the tag to see which happens first. So again, just more reason. And overall, let that be the summary here. Learn to use the point of the plate. That's so important. That's something all these crews can work on, or every umpire that was on the scrimmage. Get back to the point of the plate. Open up your field of view. So that's just going to be the breakdown of one game. Feel free to leave your comments with what you feel like you need to work on in your game, what you need to incorporate. Do not comment specifically about these umpires. This could be any of us out there. And that is not the purpose of this video. So unless you want to be banned from the channel, do not comment on the umpire specifically. Let's just talk about mechanics, knowing our mechanics, and ask questions about those in the comments. So thanks for watching Marriott Umpires. Let's keep working throughout the season. These umpires were just unfortunate enough that their game was on video, but this is going to be something they can learn from and grow from. For the rest of you, go through the video and just know these are things that we probably all need to work on. So there you go. That's our review. Thanks for watching.